Hey there, welcome to Working It Out with Anna Kooiman. I'm your host, Anna Kooiman, and today we have an incredibly inspiring episode for you. If your parents or other loved ones have dealt with a chronic disease like cancer or something else, this one's really going to resonate with you. As the world's population continues to age, so does the number of older adults diagnosed with cancer. And according to the National Cancer Institute, over 60% of all cancer diagnoses occur in people ages 65 and older. So this presents a unique set of challenges for both patients and doctors. Today, we're sharing a story about geriatric oncology treatments that are saving lives. I'll be chatting with a doctor and his 77-year-old patient. Her story of resilience, hope, and the power of the human spirit is incredible to see. She's an absolute powerhouse, a globetrotter. She lives with the zest of somebody who's a whole lot younger. Plus, make sure you stick around for today's fitness tip that we always do at the end of the episode. I'll share how moms can really strengthen our arms so we don't struggle carrying all the gear. You know, the ski gear during the winter, the pool gear during the summer, lawn gear, you name it. So go ahead, grab that coffee, settle in, or have a listen while you're walking around your neighborhood. Let's go ahead and get started. Joining us now, two remarkable guests. We have Dr. Imran Ali. He's a geriatrician from Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, and his patient, the extraordinary Mary Elizabeth Poore. Now, Mary is a world-traveling opera singer, a devoted mother of three, and a woman who has faced some of life's toughest challenges with grace and determination. Great to have both of you on Working It Out. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. It's
Thank you
wonderful to
so
be
much,
here.
Anna.
So let's talk about this trend, Dr. Ali. I love having you on the show. One major challenge is that a lot of cancer treatments are actually designed and tested on younger patients, but there's this growing field for this population too. Why did you want us to hear about Mary's story in particular?
Well, I want people to understand that age should not be a barrier to cancer treatment. A lot of people understand that, they think that they're too frail to tolerate cancer treatment, but that's not the case anymore. We got to look beyond chronological age. That's the birthday on your driver's license, and look at your physiological age, how well you are from a physiological standpoint. And it's a better science now. We're able to scientifically examine a patient to understand what their physiological age is.
Yeah, you got a whole lot of life left to live, right, Mary? I'd love to hear your story. Take us back to that day when you realized that something was wrong. I guess that was a March day. What happened?
I started feeling a little short of breath. I thought maybe I was getting a bad cold with lung congestion or something. And I went to bed, felt like a little flu-ish. And then Sunday morning, I woke up and I literally couldn't take a breath. So I called 911 myself and I had them come and pick me up. And the first thing when they walked in the door, I said, "Do you have oxygen?" And they said, "Yes, we do." I said, "Well, hand it over." And that was the beginning. That was March 9th. And I went into Mount Sinai Morningside and had a lot of tests run, and a lot of things showed up. It was clear that I wanted to get back to my life. I wasn't just folding it in. I wanted to get through whatever I was having to go through, and I wanted to do it in the most dedicated way possible. And I felt like I had a lot of input on that possibility and that treatment myself. And I think Dr. Lee and I were totally in sync on that. And he and I agreed down the line. And obviously, he knows a lot more than I do about treatments and options. But between him and my oncologist at Mount Sinai, they were really in sync.
Um, Amazing. And you've done it with such determination and such grace. And I can see that you have a lovely bond with your doctor. You're so lucky and blessed that you're able to be on the same page. Dr. Ali, if you can just articulate really concisely, what was the diagnosis and what was the
Yeah.
treatment?
So when Mary came to me, she was so weak. She had fluid filling in her lungs. She had her right arm was completely swollen to the point where the skin was stretched taut because the breast cancer affected the lymph nodes. So most often when we have breast cancer, it spreads to the lymph nodes of the armpit. and that can prevent the lymph from, it can cause a lot of edema or swelling of the arm. And so she had a massive arm on the side. She had fluid in her lungs. She unfortunately also had the cancer spread to other parts of her body. And a lot of the doctors were describing palliative options. It was it wasn't very optimistic. At the Jewish home here, we take an interdisciplinary approach. Now, cancer treatment is just not your oncologist and you. It takes a whole village. And you being in fitness, I can't tell you how important our physical rehabilitation has played a role here in her recovery. So actually, cancer rehab is now a new trend that is sweeping the nation and around the globe even. So we do know that if you get rehabilitation and you stay active during active cancer treatment, your chances of beating the cancer or staying more functional is much higher. And all the studies show that.
Yeah, and if you go into it with a level, an underlying level of fitness rather than, a sedentary lifestyle, sitting on the couch eating ultra processed food all the time, your outcomes are going to be a lot better.
I eat very cleanly. I'm not an extreme in any direction, but I eat clean food. I never buy processed food. I've always eaten food that I've cooked or that our family has cooked. And everybody, my kids and my husband was as well, really fine cooks. We always ate good, clean food. Was I a gym rat? Absolutely not. I found going to the gym boring, but I loved walking.
It's important also that I want to stress, especially with, this month being breast cancer awareness. So breast cancer, estrogen is what fuels breast cancer. So most of the treatments will block estrogen. And when you block estrogen, yes, you're not feeding the tumor, but you're starving the bones. So a lot of women who have breast cancer have very weak bones, and you'll be started on a treatment for that. And I think in Mary's case, in the beginning, you had immense back pain because you had the spinal compression fractures because of the lack of estrogen.
I had one spinal compression fracture that I was totally unaware of existed, but
Yeah.
it was there. But one of my initial immediate treatments was a treatment for bones and not a cancer treatment. It was a treatment to strengthen bones with the idea that if the bones were strong, other little nasty things couldn't get in them and they would hold their integrity.
Even before you start the cancer treatment, you should speak to your doctor about any back pain, because a lot of people don't realize that these things can easily be addressed not only with pain medication but with bone strengthening treatment that can be started early on. Even something as a nasal spray. What we use is something called calcitonin, which is a rapidly acting hormone that can be administered via a nasal spray, and it acts really fast, even faster than what you would get in the infusion. So that's what I started Mary on initially, until her oncologist started the major infusion. But I want to say, in your case, Mary, you surprised all of us because you worked so hard, you were determined, and now we do have treatments which are much less harsh and really effective. So you got to speak to your doctor, because they can precisely look through a genetic test. They can even do what's called a liquid biopsy to kind of fine tailor treatments to you, which are less harsh. And, in the older population, we, like you said, Mary, we don't want a chemotherapy that may shrink the tumor, but then leave you debilitated. And I think that's what my older patients don't know, that you have the opportunity to talk to your doctor, work with your doctor as a team, and ask them, what is this drug going to do to me? How's this going to affect my ability to play with my grandchildren or to run around? Because I think that's something that you need to talk to your doctors about, so we can work as a team, so you can stay active and enjoy your life and still get the cancer treatment you need.
Mary, I'd love to hear how your kids helped you through this. I know you're a mom of three, and My audience is mostly moms. We're kind of that sandwich generation. They've been calling us where we're taking care of our kids and taking care of our parents a little bit. How did your children help you through this?
Oh, I think that what my kids did for me is amazing. And we kind of had the attitude that we're all going through this together. I was the patient, but really they've lived every moment of it with me. They've kept abreast of everything that I'm doing. Um, Individually dealt with my professionals like Dr. Ali and Dr. Diva at Mount Sinai. When I ever go into an appointment with her, either a kid is there with me and the rest of them are on a video call so they get everything. And then one of their friends is along with me. So we have a whole village that comes along for
Right.
support, and also just practically, you might miss something in conversation, somebody else hears something.
Dr. Ali, as we go, can you tell us what is next for Mary as far as her treatment plan goes and what
Right.
types of treatments we have to look forward to in this space as it evolves?
So, breast cancer, the treatment has changed a lot. We have more targeted treatments, and you've probably seen commercials of these pills that people are taking now for breast cancer, even metastatic breast cancer. Everybody has a unique profile. So each tumor has its own genetic weakness. So your doctor is going to do what's called a biopsy. They're going to take a little bit of that tumor, they're going to look under a microscope, and they're going to find the weak spots. I tell people, think of it as finding a way to target, say, a car, shooting a car's tires so the car can't drive faster. So these targeted treatments may not completely cure your cancer, but they can slow it down dramatically. And now they have something called like a liquid biopsy. So they can actually, through a blood test, in addition to the biopsy, find certain genetic patterns so they can use things that are less toxic. Because in the old days, chemotherapy was just basically like poison. You're hurting the good tissue and the bad tissue. Now we can selectively target what makes the tumors multiply. And that's why your doctor can actually precisely customize your treatment. For a patient I had, she wanted to travel. So we try to, focus on treatments that were not always tied to the infusion center. So you need to work with your doctor based on your priorities. I think it's really important that people understand that they have the ability to speak to the doctor and work with them instead of just listening blindly.
Well, best wishes as your treatments continue. We're all thinking about you and other breast cancer patients and survivors this Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I wore my pink for you today, Mary. You're a beautiful
Thank
woman
you.
inside and out, and you're very inspiring. I really appreciate you being on the show. And Dr.
Thank
Ali,
you.
we'll have you back anytime. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate everything, and I certainly appreciate Dr. Ali for his amazing expertise, but also his demeanor and his persona. He's really one in a million.
Great. All right. Thank you, guys. Now, before we wrap things up, it's time for today's Mama Fitness tip, as promised and as always. So, look, if you've ever struggled to carry all the ski gear, the pool gear, the lawn gear, basically all the gear, then you know just how important it is for us moms to have strong arms. So here are 3 quick dumbbell exercises that my students are loving. The first one, bicep curls with an overhead press. You start with a bicep curl, then press the weights overhead. This move strengthens your arms and shoulders all in one go. Next up, single arm supported rows. So with one dumbbell in one hand and your other hand just above your knee for support, pull your elbow back like you're starting a lawnmower. This targets your back and a bit of your biceps. Make sure you're squeezing your shoulder blades together to perfect your posture. And exercise number 3 is a farmer carry. Grab the heaviest weights that you can handle, hold them at your sides, and walk around your space. This builds grip strength and works your entire upper body. If you don't have super heavy dumbbells around, you can add a move like a lunge or a squat to amplify things without having a heavier dumbbell. All right, friends, if if you'd like the full version, the follow along version of these exercises, I've got a full length video for you. I got you covered. Click on the show notes or the caption, because the full length video is linked here for my personal Anna Kooiman YouTube and Instagram pages. You can find it there. And look, thank you so much for joining us and tuning in to today's episode of Working It Out with Anna Kooiman. Don't forget, while you're here, subscribe to the show on YouTube so you never miss an episode. We've got so many more incredible stories and tips coming your way. I'll see you next time on Working It Out with Anna Kooiman. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.